welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sarah Sperber and I am a real estate agent in the Northern Nevada market. And on today's video, I'm going to be diving into some market data. I do this every single month, so make sure you hit that like and that subscribe button so that you don't miss any important data updates. And today I'm going to dive in, give you a full analysis on everything as it stands, and of course, tell you what all of these key performance indicators mean for both buyers and sellers. So you're going to want to stay till the end because obviously that is the most important part of all of this. All right, let's just dive right in. So the median sales price came in at $570,000 month over month. This is actually a significant, not jarring, but significant decrease month over month from the closeout of March. This is about 7%, just shy of 7% less than it was at the closeout of March. But it is important to note, it's almost 3% higher than it was a year ago. So we are seeing a little bit of turbulence. We are experiencing interest rates that, though they were predicted to be cut 4 times this year, they just appear to keep hovering and also increasing, which is not what any of us predicted nor what we were told. So I think that is having a huge impact. Obviously, when rates are higher, it does weed out a lot of competition. It puts a little bit more stress on the seller pool to kind of offer more concessions, lower price tags, etc., to attract more buyers into the market. Let's talk about number of closed sales. This took a massive increase month over month from the closeout of March, coming in at 241 closed sales, which is 14.2% higher than it was a month ago and 2.8% lower than it was a year ago. That's pretty marginal, but the main point here is that closeout of March, we had a lot less market activity than we have now, a lot less closed sales. So we are seeing things pick up and heat up, even though the price tag's just slightly lower. The median sales price is slightly lower than it was a month ago. We're still seeing homes moving that are hitting the market. We still have a huge inventory crisis here in the Northern Nevada market. I did see a data graph today on, I think it was Facebook, so don't come for me. This isn't like a super specific citation, but I did see something posted today that said Nevada is the #1 state in the entire nation that has the biggest inventory crisis. I can't tell you who posted it or where it was from or whether or not it was credible, but on the ground here, I do believe it. The next figure, I think, is our biggest change month over month, and that is median days to contract. It dropped by 27.3% month over month. We are landing at just 8 days, which is so fast. From the time that homes are listed to the time they get an offer accepted, 8 days is just a tiny little window. So that's great news if you are thinking about selling. Year over year, this is also 20% lower. So what we're seeing is that this is a very hot seller's market. Even though price tags have seen a slight cooling, these are all strong indicators that this is moving in the direction of a very strong seller's market. Of course, this is oftentimes a seasonal trend, and we are on the brink of summer, so fasten your seatbelts. It's about to get really hot here. All right, we're moving on now to percent of list price received, landing at 99.1%. I often say this in these market updates, but as long as listings are appropriately priced, they tend to get what sellers are asking for them. This is not uncommon. I think a lot of times it's a common tendency for sellers to want to overprice things and see what happens, or overprice things and negotiate your way down. But I always advise sellers to try to list as close to fair market value as possible, because what you don't want to do is overprice your listing. Then people start wondering what's wrong with it because it's overpriced, because it starts sitting and you're not getting any traffic or any offers, and it becomes stigmatized. And that's probably one of the worst things that can happen when you're trying to sell your home. So my advice here, and what this number is telling you, is that if you appropriately price your listing, you most likely will get what you are asking for as long as it's close to fair market value. Let's talk now about median price per square feet. Now, these are the sold metrics, not what it was listed at. This is actually what it sold for. This number in our market is coming in at $331 per square foot. This is 2.5% higher month over month from the closeout of March, so nothing super significant there, and 7.3% higher than it was just a year ago. So Honestly, these numbers are really not that much to write home about, so I'm gonna keep it moving. Okay, these last 3 numbers are going to give you strong indicators about the pace of the market. So we're just gonna dive right into these. We're gonna talk about the number of new listings, which is up significantly by 27%. We had, for the closeout of April, 358 new listings. That's significant, as was the change year over year, which was an 8.2% increase as well. But stay tuned because there's more to that story, and the next 2 numbers kind of go hand in hand with this data point, so just keep that in mind as we move forward. Active inventory also increased by 6.1% month over month, but it decreased by nearly 13% year over year, so that's super interesting. We went up month over month, but this time last year there was a lot less active inventory. So this last data point is the month supply of inventory. This landed at 1.7 months, which is a 7.1% decrease from the month of March, and a whopping 10% decrease year over year. So basically, what these 3 numbers combined are telling us is that while a lot of new inventory is hitting the market, we're seeing new listings, we're seeing more active inventory, it's getting snatched up faster than the market can really handle. These numbers would lead me to believe that that might not be so far-fetched. And as long as we have a scarcity factor in our market, regardless of interest rates, regardless of our average prices being a lot higher than other cities of similar size, it's the basics of supply and demand, right? These are economic principles that dictate how a market will behave, and we are always going to see a hotter than average market here until that is remedied. Let's talk about the goods. You guys have waited this far and you've watched this long, so I really appreciate you. And if you're still here, it would mean the world to me if you would please subscribe and hit the like button. It helps me out. It helps me know what kind of content I should keep creating, because I sit here every week and I'm like, does anyone even watch these videos? It would really help. Don't be shy. Leave me a comment below. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. And without further ado, I am going to give you some really valuable insight for both buyers and sellers. If you are a seller in this market, you're going to want to make sure that you appropriately price your listing. Literally nothing is more important than being strategic with your pricing, and I almost always will advocate for a seller to list as close to fair market value as possible. That way, no one can really argue, right? If the comps in the market support your price tag, nobody's gonna be coming at you with a lowball offer. If you are a buyer in today's market, what I have to say to you is that our median days to contract is 8 days. So you have about 0 time to figure out what you want, how you're gonna pay for it, where to be looking. Like, you need to come in with a plan, and the very best way to have a plan and strategy in place is to make sure all your ducks are in a row. And to even know what the ducks are, you need to talk to a professional. Like, I would love to hop on a call with you and give you advice, but you're gonna wanna make sure your financing is sound. And a lot of buyers will come to me and be like, I'm already pre-approved for whatever, $550,000. And I'm like, well, but like, that's not really a true statement, because it really depends on the actual property. Sometimes the lender will come back and say, okay, in order for that to happen, they're gonna need to put X amount down, they're gonna need a credit for whatever amount from the seller, and we're gonna need however many days to actually get it through underwriting because I'm missing X, Y, and Z documents. There's nothing that makes a real estate transaction smoother than having 2 people in your corner who are like, ooh, let's make this happen for them, and like, how can we make it happen, and like, can they afford this? Like, so much goes on behind the scenes that you guys maybe don't realize when you're buying a home, and it really helps when your lender and your realtor are like working closely. You're really gonna wanna make sure that you're super clear about what it is that you're looking for, because you don't have a lot of time to make a decision. All of these other metrics are indicating that it's a seller's market. It's still very hot. There's scarcity, there's very limited days till contract, so you're gonna have to be decisive. The other piece of advice that I have for buyers is Make sure that you're talking to your agent about the upcoming changes that are about to take place, effective in July due to the NAR settlement. Any realtor who is going to be opening any door for any buyer is going to have an employment agreement in place. There are a lot of elements that you're going to want to talk through in that regard, and you're going to want to be really sure that the agent that you are working with is somebody that you really want to be represented by throughout the transaction. Just like sellers have had to vet their listing agents to market their home and sell their home, buyers are going to have to be doing that same thing now. So if you have any questions about that, I'm an open book. If you have any questions about real estate in general, there is a link in the show notes below where you can book a free call with me whenever it is convenient for you. I am a free resource, and we can hop on a call, get your questions answered, make sure that you have the best strategy in place for your next and best steps. And of course, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like and that subscribe button. I put out new videos every single week about the Northern Nevada lifestyle, the Reno Sparks housing market, and all things to do with buying and selling real estate. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.